Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. Still sticking with the same team as yesterday's episode, bringing it back to Mega Salamence, which I enjoy a lot, so I will be using this for a while until I build a couple of new teams and then I'll feature those. Also, if you haven't heard from my various social media outlets, I was accepted with my partnership to Twitch, which is really exciting. So for those that don't know, I've been streaming recently a decent amount on Twitch, and I applied for partnership and they finally replied and I was accepted. So that's really exciting. I'll definitely be streaming more in the upcoming weeks and months, probably 3 to 4 times a week. So if you don't follow me on Twitch, definitely give me a follow at twitch.tv/CybertronVGC. Currently, I don't have the subscriptions and all that good stuff enabled yet, just because I have a couple of forms and emails I need to send back and forth, but by the next week or so, everything should be set up and ready to go. So if you want to support me in another way, you know, Twitch is a great way. And I have a lot of cool things I have planned for people who plan on subscribing to the Twitch channel. But even if you don't want to subscribe, you know, it's totally cool. Just give me a follow there. Just coming out to my streams means a lot. So yeah, that's it for that short announcement. And I'm really excited for the future. We'll be jumping it back into the ladder. So if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, my rating did fall a good amount because of the poor weather here. The storm really affected my Wi-Fi, and so I dropped a ton of games due to disconnections. But things finally ended up panning all right. I did try to play a bit last night, but I split all my games. I basically won one, lost one, and I felt like I was just playing really poorly yesterday. So I'm hoping I can do a bit better today, especially since now I'm recording an episode for you. But it would be nice to jump back into the 1800 plus after today's episode. Regardless, though, thank you guys for your support. It means a lot to me. I'm always afraid, like, because my rating tanks, you guys might be a bit disappointed, but it means a lot to me that you guys are still coming out and supporting the series and really watching the videos, so thank you. Taking a while to find our first opponent of the day right now, but it's going to be Ramona from Italy with a rating of 1690. So, Italy, cool. Pretty standard team here of Kangaskhan, Sylveon, Bisharp, Landers, T, Amoonguss, and Suicune. Basically, like, one of the most standard teams, really, a core of Pokemon you could really find in the VGC 15 format. Obviously, Suicune I do like a lot, having used it personally in the previous Road to Ranked episodes, basically for the last week or so. So let's see. My Amoonguss is fantastic in this match, mainly because he only has one way to really hit it for super effective damage, and that's like Suicune's Ice Beam, but Amoonguss can just kind of put Suicune to sleep. So I think I'm actually going to lead with Amoonguss because he can also bait Fake Outs away. Next to Amoonguss, I really want to go with Gengar, so I'm going to go Amoonguss, Gengar. In the back, I want... I think I'm going to go with Salamence. Salamence one-hit KOs Sylveon, Amoonguss, does a lot of damage to Kangaskhan and Landers T. For my last one, I do kind of want to go with my own Sylveon, but the main issue with it is that it loses to the Kangaskhan and Bisharp. So I actually kind of want to go with Terrakion just because it can outspeed and one-hit KO Kangaskhan and Bisharp. Alternatively though, I'm thinking of bringing my own Bisharp. So all three of the last Pokemon I have here are definitely viable options, so I do need to choose a bit carefully. My own Bisharp here is kind of nice, because it can take the Defiant Boost, and Amoonguss can't really touch it. I don't know, it's really between Sylveon and Bisharp right now. But, See, Terrakion's alright, but the thing is, it gets one-hit KO'd easily by Earthquake or Hyper Voice. Even Suicune and Amoonguss do a lot to it, so... tough call here. Though... You know what? I'm gonna go with Bisharp. Yeah, I do like Bisharp a lot in this. The thing is, by bringing both Gengar and Bisharp, I'm kind of relying pretty heavily on my Mega Ments. And I have to definitely be careful about my Gengar and Bisharp, just because they're two of the more frailer offensive users on this team, so I can't just lose them easily. As my opponent goes with Kangaskhan and Sylveon, I'm perfectly fine with this lead matchup, as I go with the Amoonguss and Gengar. So I actually really like this just because Sylveon does not do very much damage to either of my Pokemon. Let's see, I'm definitely going to go for the Spore onto Kangaskhan turn 1. I'm expecting a Fake Out, probably onto Amoonguss, that would be my guess. So, and then I'll just Sludge Bomb the Sylveon directly for damage. Okay, Kangaskhan Mega Evolves, that indicates to me he's targeting down Amoonguss with the Fake Out, which is perfectly fine with me. Since he's going to end up taking Rocky Helmet damage, I'm going to get a ton of damage against the Sylveon, then I can just burn the Kangaskhan next turn. But wow, Kangaskhan is going to get a Helping Hand boost from that Sylveon. Was not expecting that, so he's probably targeting down my Amoonguss right now. So maybe I should have Will-O-Wisp instead, but I definitely... Wow, the Ice Punch coming out. Helping Hand Ice Punch. Will that be able to knock out Amoonguss, though? Oh, a crit. That's unfortunate. I'm not sure if he actually would have been able to take me out without that crit. Though, I assume it's like admin, it's Kangaskhan, so it probably would have knocked me out, yeah. Given that it took me out in one hit. So I'm thinking a smarter play might have been to Will-O-Wisp the Kangaskhan the first turn, just because Kangaskhan was definitely the bigger threat, and losing Amoonguss is kind of bad for me just because Amoonguss does really well against my opponent's entire team. So that was a really good play there. Now this next turn, I'm going to Mega Evolve, get the speed boost, and I kind of want to Icy Wind here because I get the feeling my opponent might want to switch in Landorus T, and even if he doesn't switch in Landorus T, I can just outspeed everything the following turn. So I'm going to Icy Wind here. Though that might have been a mistake since Sylveon might want to switch out into Bisharp here. So I'm not sure if I made the best play there. And I did choose my moves a bit quickly. Sylveon does switch out. The question is, what's coming in? Oh, okay. It's going to be Amoonguss. That's perfectly fine. So Salamence is going to Mega Evolve here. I protected because I don't want to take an Ice Punch here. And I will get a nice Icy Wind off. The main issue here, however, is because I'm running Admit-Ments, I'm actually slower than the Amoonguss, or my Gengar. Oh, as I missed the Icy Wind on Kangaskhan too. Yeah, I should have Will-O-Wisped it, I guess. Actually, in retrospect, I think a better play would have just been to Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan and Double Edge the Sylveon slot. Had I done that, I would have played out so much better. So I think he's going to Rage Powder and Ice Punch, so what I'm going to do is taunt the Amoonguss, so he can't Spore or Rage Powder the following turn, bring in Bisharp here, and then I can double up into the Kangaskhan next turn with the Sucker Punch and a Sludge Bomb. Oh, his Kangaskhan actually switches out, I was not expecting that, but I'm fine with anything that comes in. It's going to be Suicune, and that's perfectly fine with me here. As I'm going to be able to taunt the Amoonguss, which is basically going to completely shut it down. But it does go for the Smart Protect, so good play on my opponent's end here. That's going to prevent me from taunting it, obviously. I do really think I should have played more offensive that one turn when I had Salamence and Gengar out. And just Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan, since it was intimidated at that rate already. So let's see, Amoonguss protected, meaning I can double target that slot for a definite KO this turn. Alternatively, I could just knock off the Suicune, and I don't know, I can't see this Amoonguss staying in and sporing, so I kind of want to just Will-O-Wisp it, actually, predicting Kangaskhan to come in. Oh, but he Rages Powders, that's fine with me. I'm going to get a burn onto it and a knockoff. Will-O-Wisp misses too, so not hitting many attacks in this game. Doesn't matter too much, though the residual damage actually could have helped out here. As I knock off his Rocky Helmet and I take some Life Orb damage, so damage is really picking up as Suicune goes for that Tailwind. That's alright with me just because he's not in the most offensive position right now. But this Suicune is definitely the biggest threat to me, and I kind of made a mistake by losing Amoonguss on so early just because Amoonguss was one of my better ways to deal with his Suicune. So, let's see, I could just Sludge Bomb Amoonguss and knock off Suicune here. But the thing is, I want to stall out this Tailwind. I really do want to stall out this Tailwind. You know what? The question is, who would Suicune target here? I would personally Scald the Bisharp. So I could Protect and Sludge Bomb to KO Amoonguss, but then he just gets a free switch into Kang, which I don't really want. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just going to go for as much damage as I can this turn, Sludge Bomb Amoonguss, and knock off. Amoonguss actually switches out, which is even better for me because I'm getting a lot of free damage on whatever comes in. That's actually going to be Sylveon, so Sylveon's going to get knocked out here, which is excellent for me. So he does go for the Scald. Who does it target? Does target down Bisharp. Oh, and that KO'd with the crit. That really hurts me. Ah, man. There was no way that would have KO'd normally, and I would have been able to get the knockoff against Salamence, or against Suicune, which I really needed. Not only, that crit also screws me over because it gives, I was relying on Bisharp staying around this turn so I could protect the following turn. So now stalling out Tailwind's going to be nearly impossible, so, honestly, I think I've already lost this. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see what I can do. That crit definitely hurts a lot, though. But Amoonguss comes back in here instead of the Kangaskhan, which I was expecting. So I don't know. I feel like if my opponent brought out Kangaskhan, I would have been in a much worse position. But you know what? I'll take that. Let's see. I'm gonna protect here, and you know what? I'm actually gonna Icy Wind, hoping his Suicune isn't that fast, so that I can just next turn Sludge Bomb Amoonguss and double edge the Suicune. As Amoonguss goes for a protect. Okay, good. I presume he's going for the Ice Beam into Salamence. Yep, perfect. As I do get an Icy Wind off here, and it does connect. Ah, man. That's leftover Suicune. Yeah, I can't stress how much having that knockoff would have helped me, because it would have been able to put it in double edge KO range. Like, I didn't mind losing. Oh, I mean, I did mind losing Bisharp there, but that's unfortunate. All right. I feel like Amoonguss is gonna Rage Powder here, and he's just gonna Ice Beam Salamence. So I might have to bank off a double protect. I really don't want to, but at this point, I don't really see many better options. Ugh. Because Amoonguss here is definitely, if I were my opponent, I would just Rage Powder and Ice Beam Salamence. Like, there's not much reason not to do that. And I don't think I can knock out Amoonguss with the Sludge Bomb, and even if I were to, Double Edge would not knock out Suicune. So... yeah, I'm gonna go for the double and Sludge Bomb Suicune in case he doesn't Rage Powder. I failed the double. Yeah, that's gonna be game. Man, I can't stress how much that Bisharp crit hurt. But that's Pokemon for you. Yeah, Sludge Bomb wouldn't have knocked out Amoonguss there, and he does go for the Ice Beam onto my Salamence. That's probably gonna knock me out. As it does. So yeah, I feel like had I gotten the knockoff against Suicune, well, I mean, that was my game plan at that point, so that threw me off guard, but you know, crits happen all the time, and I could have played better. Like, that kind of punished me for not being more offensive early on in the match, so I think that's a good lesson to learn from it. And I should not have lost. I should have just Will-O-Wisp Kangaskhan in the beginning and Sport it, because I would have been guaranteed, you know, had I burn it, the Amoonguss was really essential in this matchup, so I think I misplayed heavily there. And yeah, there's no way the Scald would have knocked out Bisharp, seeing how little it did to my Gengar there. So I feel like I had the advantage here in terms of team matchup, and I let it slip because I played sub-optimally. And obviously, like, you're not going to make perfect plays every game, but the thing is, I feel like at that point I was just playing a bit too safe, and I really should have just went on the offense a bit more. But yeah, losing Amoonguss on the first turn definitely caught me off guard as well. So Ken goes for the Burned Ice Punch here onto Gengar. Does not KO me, but Suicune here is going to knock me out. Actually, he goes for the Tailwind. Bit excessive there, but okay. Well played on my opponent's end, though. The Helping Hand Ice Punch play on that first turn was really brilliant. And yeah, I can't stress to you how bad it was for me to lose Amoonguss on that first turn. As Kangaskhan's going to knock me out here. So 2-0 win for my opponent's end. Basically, I think a couple of good lessons to learn from this match are, I mean, that first turn, man, I don't know, I think, the biggest mistake here was realizing Suicune does really well against my team and not conserving Amoonguss a bit better, because had I had Amoonguss just stuck around for a turn longer, it would have been perfectly fine. But yeah. Whew, alright, so we're going to take a loss there, but I thought my opponent played really well, and a bunch of good lessons to learn from there. So we're going to look for the second battle of the day. But, oh. Crits always get to me, man, but I think the worst times are when, like, crits literally just completely turn the tide of the game, as we actually find a disconnection there. But like I said, there's no really point in complaining, and the only reason I was even in that position was because I put myself in such a disadvantageous position. And that's one of the things I think people don't realize as much about Pokemon. It's like, you can actually control crits to an extent. And what I mean by that is, like, the reason why like speed is so good in VGC is because it allows you to basically attack before your opponent. So if you're getting Rock Slides off before your opponent, or if you're just getting attacks off, as our second opponent of the day is BB with the rating of 1703 from Japan. And obviously there's so much luck involved in Pokemon, but what I mean by that is, like, if you're attacking first, you're optimizing your chances of luck, because it means you have that chance of getting a crit before your opponent can even attack. You're getting that chance of a Rock Slide flinch before they can do anything. You're getting that chance of a Scaldborn before they can attack. Which is why I think speed control is such an important thing to consider in VGC, and that's why so many teams have multiple methods of speed control. So yeah, I mean, like, that's why Tailwind is so good, because it allows you to attack first, and like, even if Scald didn't crit me there, he still could have burned, which is why my team is actually pretty weak against Tailwind. That was one of the weaker aspects of it when I was using it. But BB here has a team of Charizard, Suicune, Weavile, Landorus, T, Terrakion, Amoonguss, so another Suicune, which definitely doesn't look fun. And the Weavile Terrakion combo is very annoying to deal with as well. So let's see. Once again, Amoonguss is really good here, but this time he Charizard Y is on my opponent's end, which is definitely a much bigger of a threat to Amoonguss than Kangaskhan was. I kind of want to lead Sylveon here just because it can hit Weavile, Terrakion, Landorus, and Suicune for big damage. So I'm very tempted to go with Sylveon right now. But I don't know, I'm really scared of the potential Charizard lead. Let's see. Okay, Sylveon and maybe Terrakion next to it. Yeah, that's alright. I like that. I don't mind that. Or maybe I should... See, the thing is, I would lead Sylveon and Amoonguss, but then if my opponent leads Charizard, I'm done for. So I can't afford to really do that. Mence in the back, and Amoonguss is the last one this time around, I think. Alright. Do I want to bring Bisharp in this? I don't know, it's pretty tempting. But I kind of want Amoonguss just because my opponent doesn't have many good answers to Spore, and it can help switch into physical type attacks, so... We're going to look for our second opponent of the day. Hopefully we can pick up a win this time. That first game was pretty heartbreaking because it's like one of those games where you feel like you should have, not should have won, but like you really had the upper edge on, especially when you have a, you know, optimal lead matchup and just overall team matchup, but then like because you play poorly, it ends up not going in your way. So we see Weavile and Suicune coming out here, which I'm more than okay with just because Sylveon threatens both of those Pokemon immensely. But the Suicune obviously caused us so much trouble the last game, so let's see. I feel like he's going to fake out the Sylveon, so I kind of want to switch into Amoonguss and Rock Slide just to KO him immediately. But then the thing is, that actually gives him a free switch in. So I'm going to actually just Hyper Voice and Rock Slide here. He might just go for a Tailwind with Suicune as well. Fake out going on to Sylveon. Okay, that's fine. And Rock Slide here, of course, like I mentioned with speed, it does give me a chance of flinching, which is great. I'm not going for it. I'm just going for as much damage off on this first turn as possible, as I do bring Weavile to its Focus Sash, but a flinch would be great here. But nope, he does get the Tailwind up. So good play from my opponent's end there, and like I said, I really could have... Actually, in retrospect, I think I should have just switched out to Amoonguss. Yeah. I'm going to Hyper Voice here, and... I think I want to switch Terrakion out here into Amoonguss to take a potential low kick. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So Suicune's definitely not a threat right now, and so basically I get a free turn of Burning Tailwind this turn. I think it's pretty interesting that both of my opponents had Tailwind Suicune these matches, and Tailwind Suicune is actually a pretty big issue for my team. Okay, so he's actually going to switch out Weavile, I'd guess into Charizard. That does look like Charizard coming out. Yep. So I'm going to get a Hyper Voice off here, but I just switched an Amoonguss into Charizard, which obviously is never too great. So let's see. As he goes for the Scald, probably targeting Amoonguss down though. Oh, onto Sylveon. Good play there. Hopefully no burn. With the crit. Just all the crits from Scald Suicune, man. But Hyper Voice does a ton of damage there, so I've already chipped down my opponent's team a considerable amount, which is definitely good for me. Okay, so Charizard's probably going to just Mega Evolve here. And I actually feel good given that I've got Salamence and Terrakion in the back. But I still have to play this out carefully. So this turn, I think my opponent is just going to Mega Evolve, Heat Wave, and probably Ice Beam the Sylveon slot. So I do kind of want to switch into Terrakion and Protect here. But I don't know, Terrakion's really essential to this matchup. So the thing is, can I really afford to switch out? Because basically what I want to put myself into a position is having Salamence and Terrakion out at the same time, just because I can pick up a KO on Suicune and Charizard. The main issue with that, however, is that I can't effectively deal with Weavile just because it can Ice Shard and it can outspeed the Mence and the Terrakion in the back, so let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna switch out into Terrakion and Protect here. I might take a Scald in that spot, but oh wow, he's actually gonna switch out Suicune, which is even better for me. Perfect. Into, I think, his own Terrakion. Or her own Terrakion, excuse me. Okay, that's fine. As Charizard's probably gonna go for a Heat Wave here, but that's fine with me. So far, stalling out Tailwind's been working out alright. But Charizard and Terrakion is a pretty darn big threat. I'm also curious as to how fast this Charizard is, just because my Mega Salamence is adamant max speed, but I should be able to outspeed it, yeah. I don't know, it depends, unless he's like timid. Okay, so Amoonguss is going to protect here, that's going to take a Heat Wave, yep, so this is fine with me. Even if it burns my Terrakion, I do have that Lumberry to really help me from that. Let's see. No burn, which is good. Now this is actually interesting, because I can actually just Rage Powder Rock Slide this turn. Because his Terrakion is faster than Amoonguss. So if he were to attack with Terrakion, he'd have to target the Amoonguss slot. But the main thing is I also kind of want to conserve this Amoonguss for the late game. So what I could do now is actually protect Terrakion, switch Amoonguss out to Sylveon, sack the Sylveon, and then bring in Amoonguss back. So that way I can actually outspeed the Charizard and he has no way to really touch my Terrakion. So the question is whether I just want to Rock Slide immediately and lose Amoonguss, or switch out into some... I think I should play this a bit safer. So I'm going to protect Terrakion here and just let my Sylveon faint, just because Sylveon has done his job to this point, basically. And as I learned from the previous lesson, Amoonguss is really essential, and Amoonguss beats Terrakion, Suicune, and Weavile, so that's why I'm going to play a bit safer this time around. So I'm going to protect your Terrakion as... Oh wow, he went for the Earthquake! Huh. Interesting. So that's a... that changes things up a bit. As he is going to be able to knock out Sylveon there as well. That makes things a bit more interesting, for sure. Tailwind peters out, though, which is obviously good. That means I do get a free switch into the Ments I have in the back. And I do get to intimidate the Terrakion, which is great as well. However, now I'm really worried about speed ties. Yeah, oh, man. Okay, so... I kind of want to just... I could just Rock Slide and Double Edge the Terrakion there. The question is what he does with Charizard. If he protects with Charizard, I kind of actually want to switch Terrakion out into Amoonguss and Double Edge the Terrakion. And if it is sashed, I don't know. See, the issue is I don't know what item it has here either, and the speed tie risk is really huge. You know what? I'm just gonna Rock Slide and Double Edge, I think. Because I can outspeed him. So the worst case, Charizard protects. Maybe I should Dragon Dance. Or maybe I should... Oh, this is tough. You know what? I'm actually going to switch out into Amoonguss, Mega Evolve, and Dragon Dance. Yeah. If he goes for Rock Slide here, though, which I really think he might, then I'm in some trouble. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Charizard switches out. That's good news. Into Suicune. This is perfect. Hopefully no Rock Slide flinch. Unless he close combated, of course. Alright, this is getting really intense. But the fact like he switched out into Suicune tells me he probably close combated. But I don't know, maybe he predicted me to switch out. Oh yeah, he just went for Rock Slide. Oh, I should have just attacked. So hopefully no flinch here. No flinch, please. Okay, I get the Dragon Dance up. That's great. That's great. That's great. Wow, that puts me in a really good position, actually. So now I could just Double Edge Suicune and Spore Terrakion. And I'm just gonna make that play, yep. The biggest fear here is I'm gonna... He has Rocky Helmet, and plus the recoil damage. I might actually KO myself. I don't think that... Oh man, I should have protected and Spored there instead. But the thing is, I don't want him getting up another Tailwind. That's my biggest concern right now. So let's see. Okay, no Protect's coming out, so I just do get a Double Edge off. That should knock out Suicune as it does. Let's see if it has Rocky Helmet. Okay, take some recoil damage. no Rocky Helmet, so I might be able to take another Rock Slide here. Since it did only do 70 damage the first time. It's going to be a damage roll, basically. And I do hang on with 22 HP. And because he missed on the Amoonguss, I'm guaranteed the Spore off there, which is huge. Wow. Now, let's see. Does he have a Lumberry? He does. Wow, so I really could have just close combated there. But that's fine because it means I can double edge it for a KO. And I'm feeling pretty good about my position right now. He's probably going to want to bring in Weavile. If it's Charizard, that's fine. Perfectly fine with me. It's going to be Weavile, though. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here is double protect to blow the potential fake out. Actually, maybe I could just attack. No, I should double protect. Yeah. So, the reason why I Spore there and not Giga Drain was just because I wanted to confirm whether I had the Lumberry or not. You know, if it didn't and it had Sash, then my opponent would basically be done for. It is good to confirm he had Lum. Obviously, I played a bit safer that previous turn with Terrakion, and like I said, I thought he might have Rock Slided, but I really didn't want to just lose Terrakion because I kind of need more Pokemon in this match. One of the biggest issues with my team is I lose Pokemon a bit too quickly and then realize like I'm fighting down with only 2 Pokemon against maybe my opponent's 3. So I did want to conserve it, and you know what? It ended up working out alright. So I am double protecting here to blow the potential fake out, and then the following turn I can just Rage Powder with the Moongus and double edge the Terrakion. And Rage Powder allows me to redirect any potential Ice Punch / Ice Shards away. And he's actually going to switch out the Weavile. Interesting decision. A good one, actually, I think. Now we get into some mind games, that's for sure. So I'm going to double protect here, but he just went for a Rock Slide. Okay. Now the question is, who is he going to protect? Does Sunlight actually fades there? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to Spore the Terrakion and double edge the Charizard, yeah. If he protects Charizard, then I get the Spore off against Terrakion, and then my Terrakion just comes in and kind of wins. And if he protects Terrakion, then I basically just win, because I knock out the Charizard. But this is really intense. Let's see. That was a good switch, you know. Normally when you bring in a Pokemon after a knockout, it's just to, obviously because you want to do something with that Pokemon, but sometimes you want to, you know, bait your opponent into making an attack to put yourself into a better position. And that makes sense to me. It definitely does make some sense to me. But, you know what, I don't mind it, just because getting that Dragon Dance off with Mence was really, really good for me. I realize today's episode is quite long, guys, so thanks for sticking out with me, but I thought the first game was pretty intense, and this game is definitely going down to the wire. Charizard goes for the Protect, alright. So I have to hope for no flinch here, as I did double edge into Charizard. He does go for Rock Slide, does target down both of my Pokemon. If I can just get the Spore off here, I think I'm good. So I perhaps made too safe of a play there, but I didn't want to walk into a Terrakion Protect. And Amoonguss flinches! Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. As I bring out Terrakion. Oh man. Once again, me playing safe I feel like might have cost me a bit, but I really didn't want to predict a potential Terrakion Protect because then he could have just Heat Waved for a double knockout. So, oh my gosh. I feel like he's just going to stay in here with Charizard and Heat Wave and close combat. I kind of want to just Spore Rock Slide here, but then if he close combats, I just lose. But he might just predict me and Rock Slide once again. So Rage Powder is obviously the safer play. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to Rage Powder Rock Slide. Okay, he does stay in. That flinch, man, that flinch. Okay, fortunately Rock Slide connects with both. And the Rage Powder prevents any close combat shenanigans here. So let's see what he goes for with his Terrakion. Oh, wow, he had... that was so dumb on me. He revealed Earthquake, and I still didn't... Oh my gosh. But the thing is, I'm fine with that, just because I couldn't afford to lose my Terrakion there. So, smart on my opponents then to predict the Rage Powder. Oh man, this is so intense. Oh, but the issue here now is he can just beat up. Okay. If he has beat up, which I expect him to, he can just beat up and, like, Rock Slide here. But the thing is, he only has 2 Pokemon left. Yeah, so beat up wouldn't be that big of a threat. So I could just double protect here. Oh my gosh, this is intense. Alternatively, I could... Because Amoonguss should win one-on-one against Terrakion, given that it's at -1. So I could just Giga Drain and Rock Slide here. I don't know. Let's see. Weavile could just Ice Punch Terrakion. Okay, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Protect coming out from Terrakion, that's perfect. Ice Shard coming out. Who does it target? Amoonguss. Okay, good, good. So I'm gonna knock out the Weavile now. Okay, I think I'm alright now. Oh my gosh, this is so intense. So this is the longest episode of Road to Rank yet, I think, actually, so... wow. So he can't knock me out with an Earthquake, so I'm just gonna Spore and Close Combat. I have to hope I don't... If I just win the speed tie, I win outright. I'm assuming he is Jolly Max Speed. Oh, but he outspeeds me! He outspeeds me! Okay, Amoonguss hangs on with 28 HP. In retrospect, I should have just protected with Terrakion there. That was kind of silly not to, actually. But I guess, I mean, he could have Rock Slide flinched me, but still, that was a silly play. So 2 Giga Drain should knock it out. So my opponent's win condition now is waking up. Yeah, I definitely should have protected and Spored that last turn. But like when battles are so intense like this, sometimes you like miscalculate towards the end of the battle, which is definitely a mistake on my end. And Giga Drain does a huge amount of damage here, and I'm gonna heal back a nice amount too. So he has to hope to wake up this turn and flinch or crit me. Okay, he stays asleep. So wow, what an intense 2 games today. As Amoonguss gets the Giga Drain off. And is able to knock out Terrakion in a very intense second game of today's episode. Man, today's games were really good. Like, this one was so intense. And I can't stress out how much I needed Amoonguss in this matchup. So that is why I conserved it a bit better after learning my lesson from that first game. So we are able to notch a second win in today's episode. But 2 really fantastic games there against, I thought, 2 opponents that played really well. Yeah, so like, first of all, this demonstrates the power really of Tailwind Suicune. Both games my opponent got a Tailwind up, which was very scary to go up against. Once again, I feel like I did not play very well in that first game, and I feel like I lost really one of the best answers to my opponent's entire team the first game. So in retrospect, it might have been a brighter idea to just protect with my Amoonguss and Will-O-Wisp the Kangaskhan in the first game, just because even if he faked out my Gengar, you know, he wouldn't have been able to KO me anyway with Sylveon. So you know, nice to feature both a loss and a win, just because I feel like there are a lot of lessons to be learned from that loss. And then the win was really good, even though I feel like I misplayed at multiple points. Definitely towards the end, I should not have given my opponent even an opportunity to get back into the game. But fortunately, ended up working all right. But yeah, I mean, it's just a testament. Like, I feel like most players don't make perfect plays every game. But the thing is, like, you shouldn't have to make perfect games every turn and win a match. Like, you should be able to make good plays throughout and win, but like have a couple mistakes here and there. But obviously, the best thing about VGC is learning from our mistakes and making sure we don't make them in the future. But that's enough about me rambling on. This is a really long episode, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely follow me on Twitch, as I mentioned earlier on, as I'll be streaming a lot more now. But that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, peace.